Oh, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing? Uh, it's been a long day, a crazy news day again today. So I've been watching the news on and off, and apparently people are back to panic buying like they did during the C-19 pandemic. So now, I've been seeing all these different videos on Twitter and on the news where people are stocking up on toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, meat, food, and they just showed all the different stores and stuff, like Walmart stuff, where there's like long lines of people standing in line, and like the shelves are empty. And all of this is happening in the middle of this aftermath of Hurricane Helene and this longshoreman strike, this port worker strike. All of this is happening at the same time. The devastation from the hurricane, the worker strike, and now they're saying that when Israel attacks Iran's oil refineries, the price of gas is going to go up. Now, I saw some videos on Twitter, live video on Twitter that people had recorded over in Iran, where there are like miles-long lines of cars where people are trying to panic buy gasoline over in Iran in anticipation of Israel striking Iran's oil refineries. Now, my understanding on the Telegram feed is that Israel has shut down one of its main Iran has shut down one of its main oil refineries. Because they anticipate that Israel is going to strike their oil refineries, which Israel is pretty much as good as well said, and so has the news over here in the United States. The media is already reporting that Israel has compiled a hit list of targets that they're going to strike, not only in retaliation for the 180 missile attack that Iran struck Israel with this last week, which most of them were intercepted and nobody died, but still, Israel said, Netanyahu said, when you strike us, we're going to strike you. So now Israel has compiled a list of targets that they're going to hit for two reasons. In retaliation of the strike, the 180 missile strike, and also in retaliation, this marks the 1 year anniversary of Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel in Gaza. So these next 4 days are going to be brutal because Israel is going to be attacking on all fronts. They're going to attack Hamas, they're going to attack Hezbollah, they're going to attack Iran. And they're not playing games. And although Biden is trying to convince Netanyahu and Israel to stand down and don't attack the nuclear power plants and things like that, it's pretty much set in stone. Israel is going to go in all gas, no brakes. There's no stopping them. I don't care what America thinks they can try to do. It's not going to call them off. Israel is going for war. They're out for blood. They were attacked first. They have a right to defend themselves. God is with that nation, and Biden needs to just either you support Israel and what they're doing, back them up all the way, because they did not start this war. Hamas started this war. So Homeland Security and the FBI is on heightened alert, and they're warning people over here in the States as well as throughout the world that we may experience a lot of anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist, violent extremism and crimes throughout the world, especially here in the United States. So Homeland Security and FBI said brace yourselves for that over the next 4 days, because that's probably going to happen in to commemorate the year anniversary of the Hamas attacks on October 7th. So October 7th, I think, is Monday. So in the next 4 days, it's going to be critical. Situation's gonna be critical throughout the world, pretty much. So yeah, that's what's happening. The panic buying. What's going to happen is you're going to go to a lot of these places like Walmart, Dollar Tree, and you're going to see a lot of these little store owners, these Arab store owners, and these little corner store and liquor store and neighborhood market store owners. They're going to be trying to buy that stuff in bulk so they can price gouge a lot of that stuff. So where you go to Walmart and you buy a 4-pack roll of tissue for $4, they're gonna price gouge it, and make it $8. It depends on how bad this longshoreman strike gets, and also just different things like milk and stuff. If you notice, when there's a panic buying or a shortage, that's what they do. They go to Sam's Club, they go to Walmart, and they buy this stuff in bulk so they can put it on their own shelves in their own little stores, and they gouge the prices. So expect that to happen too. Let's see, I got a telegram. Something happened on Telegram. Also, there have been preliminary reports that Hassan Nasrallah's successor has been eliminated. They're saying that he has been eliminated in a bombing in Beirut, I believe. What's his name? Hassim al-Din. He's Hassan Nasrallah's first cousin and his successor. And they are saying that they believe that he has been eliminated today. So I guess we're going to wait on confirmation of that. But yeah, Israel is about to go on a super blitz in the next 4 days. So Monday is probably going to be the worst of it, because that's October 7th, the year anniversary of the Hamas attack in Gaza. But yeah, what else is happening? Oh, the poor white people up in Appalachia, they beginning to feel what it's like to be, feel how black people feel in America, because they are pissed. They are mad because Mayorkas has made an announcement during a press conference earlier today, or was it yesterday, where he's saying that FEMA has run out of funds and America can't afford another bad hurricane because they don't have the funds to provide relief, to fund another hurricane. So they don't have any money. So the people in Appalachia, if you go on Twitter, you see that it's trending. They are pissed because them poor white folks, they mainly showing white folks, they're not even showing nobody else. Just poor white people in Appalachia and Tennessee and in Georgia, they are blaming the Biden administration, saying that the Biden administration blew billions on spending it on illegal immigration and housing migrants and feeding migrants and providing support and aid and money and EBT and everything to migrants. But now they don't have any money for FEMA. They spent all the FEMA money on the migrants. So people are pissed. And this may hurt Kamala next month. Because y'all keep forgetting, we only have 30 days until it's about 30 days. We have one more month until this country decides who's going to be the next president. So they really are blaming. They're trying to make Kamala and Biden look incompetent and really, really derelict right about now, because they're now trying to blame them, saying that they gave the migrants billions of dollars, and then they're sending Ukraine billions and billions of dollars, to the point that now they don't have money to help the hurricane survivors, and to fix the damages from the hurricanes, which it is true. I mean, it is true. They've given a lot of money. They've shipped a lot of money over to Ukraine and to Israel and to Taiwan. They've helped a lot of foreign countries in the billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to fund their wars. And they've spent billions and billions of dollars to help the migrants that are, over here in America, to the point that they are now neglecting the needs of the American citizens. which we already knew that this was happening. This is why the people over in the UK are so upset and why they are rioting. I don't know if they're still rioting. It's been a week or so, but that's the reason why they took it to the streets. And now that this hurricane has happened and these people have lost everything that they have over the southeastern part of the United States in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, these people, West Virginia, these people are PISSED that they're only offering $750 per household or per, I don't know. Kamala said they're offering $750. Them people are pissed. They said y'all gave all this money to the migrants. Y'all gave all the FEMA money to the migrants and then sent all that money over to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan. Ooh, it smells so strong like weed over in this area. Goodness gracious. Is it a weed house or something or a dispensary? Goodness gracious. But yeah, these people are upset. So I don't know how that's gonna look for Kamala. And of course Trump is gonna rub that in and act like it's all their fault, you know, to make himself look better. But that's what's happening. You know, these next 4 days are going to be brutal. It's going to be critical because it's going to be a lot of anti-Semitic crimes, protests, pro-Palestinian protests and things happening all over the world, especially here in America because we have one of the largest Jew populations in the whole world. America has a large Jew population. So I look for them to I look for a lot of things to happen over the next 4 days, especially during the weekend. Will Israel hit Iran's nuclear power plants? Probably so, because Israel's goal is to eliminate everything and everybody. That's what Prime Minister Netanyahu said. That's what he promised, and that's what he is going to do. He's not playing games with them. This man is under the leadership and the guidance of God, and he's not going to let up until they are eliminated. So, yeah, Biden can't do nothing about that. And Starmer and all these, you know, the United Nations or none of them, they cannot do nothing about that. Israel, you cannot tell Israel how to fight their war. So, yeah, that's going to happen. Weather-wise, Hurricane Kurt is forming in the Gulf of Mexico. It started off as a tropical storm. It is now a hurricane, and it is forming in the Gulf of Mexico as we speak. Looks like it's headed for Florida. So it's going to be forming in the next few days, and we got to watch and see how that goes. But they've already said that we can't afford to have another hurricane, but you can't tell God what you can't afford. Because if he's going to send it, he's going to send it. And unfortunately, as more people are being found, more fatalities are being confirmed, more casualties are being confirmed as a result of Helene. They said the count is up to like 200 now, as Florida and North Carolina are confirming more casualties from the hurricane. And that's not even including the other states, Georgia, West Virginia, South Carolina, Florida. That's not all the states that are reporting. It's just Georgia and North Carolina has raised the number up to 200 deaths from Hurricane Helene so far. It's 200 and counting, because there's still thousands of people unaccounted for. So there's been a lot of road closures and collapses to where whole towns, little small rural areas have been completely cut off and inaccessible. They can't even get in there to rescue, to recover, to provide aid. They can't even get in there because the cities are inaccessible. So, oh, wait a minute, y'all. I'm back. Here's a story that I missed. It says the Dominican Republic is about to begin expelling up to 10,000 Haitian migrants a week. It says Haiti is reeling from deadly gang violence, hunger, and instability, prompting the UN to warn against sending people back. So the United Nations is trying to tell people to not send Haitian immigrants or migrants back to their country. But the Dominican Republic says that it plans to expel as many as 10,000 Haitian migrants per week, despite a long-standing call from the United Nations to end forced returns to Haiti amid a surge in gang violence there. Homero Figueroa, a Dominican presidential spokesman, said on Wednesday that the operation aims to reduce the excessive migrant populations detected in Dominican communities. So the Dominican Republic is sending those Haitian migrants back because they said that there's too many of them coming down there. And the United Nations is trying to tell them not to send them back to Haiti because Haiti is in such chaos right now with gang violence, hunger, and just complete lack of stability in that country right now. That country is pretty much destroyed because the gangs have taken over the country and pretty much overthrown the government in Haiti at this point. So they're trying to come over to all the countries that border Haiti. They're trying to come over to, they're going to Cuba, they're going to Dominican Republic, and they're coming over here to America, which is why we have the problem up in Springfield right now. And then there's another problem with the Haitian migrants in a little town in Alabama that I saw last week in the news. So the Dominican Republic said that they are just going to start sending 10,000 Haitians a week back to Haiti. As it says the announcement comes just days after the UN reported that at least 3,661 people had been killed in Haiti in the first half of 2024 amid the senseless gang violence that has engulfed the country. So what makes the United Nations think that other countries want that crime to come into their borders, within their borders? But they said don't send them back. That's unreasonable. So Haitian leaders warned last week that they are nowhere near winning the battle against the armed groups, which for months have been carrying out attacks and kidnappings across the capital of Port-au-Prince and in other parts of the country. Haiti is just pretty much destroyed. That country is just, it's going to take another country like such as America or the UN or the UK or France to go in and retake Haiti back from those gangs, point blank. It's going to take a military intervention to take Haiti back from the gangs. That's the only solution. Other than that, Haiti is just going to be a lawless country where there is no civil order. It's just going to be a country of complete chaos. And the reason being is because, like I told y'all, they practice voodoo and Santeria down there. That's a godless country, and all kind of stuff goes on down in Haiti. So, yeah, the violence has internally displaced more than 700,000 Haitians, according to UN figures, and nearly half of the population, more than 5.4 million people, also faces acute hunger. This is just, and America can't take them. We can't take that many people here. So I don't know what else they expect other countries to do. Just like with Mexico. We can't take all those people in South America. We can't take all these migrants here or these illegal immigrants here. So there's going to have to be some serious intervention and deportation operations going on to regain control of our borders and this migrant population that is invading this country, period. That's not being racist. That's not being evil. That's not being a bigot or anything. It's just that we don't have the resources right now. Look at this whole hurricane situation. We don't have the resources to accommodate these migrants and these illegal immigrants. And then we're spending extra resources because they're bringing crime over here. They're crossing the border. These criminals are bringing crime and increasing crime over here. Cost of living, crime, everything. So something has to be done. And whoever wins next month is going to have to deal with this, and they're going to have to do something about it, period. It's just too much. I mean, America can't save everybody. So, I don't know. Let's see what happened with this typhoon. What is it called? Typhoon what? Crafton? Typhoon. I mean, this is about the 5th typhoon that they've had. No, this is about the 3rd one they've had in Taiwan. Yep. 2 dead as weakened and weird typhoon Krathon slams into Taiwan. Why do they call it a weird typhoon, I wonder? Wonder was the birds flying crazy again or what? Krathon, which is unusual in that it directly hit the island's west coast, made landfall as a much weaker Category 1 typhoon, but officials still warned people to stay home. So it was a small one that killed 2 people. Made it grounded flights and the financial markets closed. That is, see this rain. I mean, this weather is just so weird. Shortly after dawn, residents in, what is that, Kaohsiung, a city of some 2.7 million people, began receiving text warnings telling them to seek shelter from gusts of winds of more than 100 miles per hour. See, this weather is getting weirder by the day. And people who don't think that we are not in the last days and this is not the end times, boy, you are just so deceived. I mean, this is something else, man. But yep, mudslides, landslides, rainfall of more than 5.2 feet, bringing rocks and mud cascading down onto roads. Yep. So we're going to see how these other hurricanes are forming down here in the Gulf, Kirk and Leslie, over here in the States, because God help this country if another hurricane hit on the heels of Helene. God help America, because I don't know if we could be able to sustain another hit like that. Only time will tell. We'll see in the next, what they say in the next few days. They'll see, what's going to happen with those 2 hurricanes that's forming down there. And it's crazy, y'all. Stay prayed up. Get saved if you haven't already. It's getting serious. Peace. So, okay, y'all. I'm back in from today, and I'm just kind of checking Al Jazeera and just kind of checking, to see when my Telegram goes off. So, not much has been happening. Not much changed since I left, but yeah, since people are literally panic buying toilet paper like they did back in 2020. And I don't understand, why are you just panic buying toilet paper? Wouldn't you buy, well, they did say that they're buying bottled water too, but I don't get that. Why are you just buying one or 2 products? You would think that you would buy other things too, but yeah, people are weird. But yeah, it says they described the Hurricane Helene damage as biblical, quote unquote biblical. It says FEMA has run out of funds for relief and aid for natural disasters. So poor white people in Appalachia are upset that illegals are being supported more than they are. And now they are cursing Kamala and Biden out on Twitter. They are blaming them for all of this Hurricane Helene, the port strikes. They're getting blamed for all of it. So Congress is on break in the meantime. And they need to, Biden is encouraging them to hold an emergency session so they can allocate more funds for the Hurricane Helene relief efforts, because right now those funds are in limbo and they keep talking about they don't have any more. In the meantime, you've got 2 more hurricanes forming down in the Atlantic, in the Gulf of Mexico, you got Kirk and Leslie down there forming as we speak, and Congress is on break for a month. And those people need help in the Southeast, in those southern states, southern states now. And 2 more hurricanes are forming, and they are on break. Congress is on break for a whole month. But Biden and Harris are getting the blame for this. And of course, the conservatives and the right wings and the Trumpers, they're all blaming. Of course, they're going to use this, try to hold this against Kamala, you know, for the election, since the election is so close around the corner. So they're going to try to use this to hold this against her. So yeah, but it's like this. We as Black people, they know how the Hurricane Katrina survivors feel when the government just pretty much ignored them and neglected them. Now these poor white people in Appalachia are beginning to feel what it's like for Black people, because like Dave Chappelle said, we've been on that. We know what it's like to not have nothing, so we just act accordingly. So, but we've been on that. It says that in Lebanon, Israel has hit Lebanon again, and they said that Israeli air attacks on West Bank's Tokarim camp kills at least 18 people. So they're hitting Lebanon and the West Bank in Gaza. They're hitting both of them. Like I said, Israel is about to take out. They want to take out Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran at this point now. So, yeah. U.S. federal jury convicts 3 officers in fatal Tyre Nichols beating. Good, good, good. Mexican president calls for investigation of deadly migrant shooting. Iran warns of unconventional response in case of new Israeli attack. An Israeli attack is going to happen. So you might as well just brace yourself for that, Iran. And like I said, it has not been confirmed yet if Hassan Nasrallah's successor has been killed, but they think he has been killed in another attack on Beirut. What is it? What was his name? It's Hassan Nasrallah's first cousin, and he's his successor. I had his name wrote down somewhere. Oh, Hashim Safai al-Din. But anyway, he's the successor. They think he's dead. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but this is a day before Nasrallah's funeral. So they're going to have Nasrallah's funeral tomorrow. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Israel doesn't do something during that funeral. I wouldn't put it past Israel. So yeah, but they've taken out some more high-ranking Hezbollah commanders, and they are currently looking for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but he's underground somewhere hiding. They can't find him. At least 78 people killed after boat capsizes in DRC. What is that, Congo? Again? Another boat in Congo? At least 58 rescued as officials warn death toll could rise after boat carrying 278 people sinks. Yep, it's in the Congo. At least 78 people have died after a boat capsized in Lake Kivu in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. So is that probably another one of those remote places where they have to travel by boat? It says I'll take at least 3 days to get the exact numbers because not all the bodies have been found. 278 people on a boat before it overturned. The boat, which had come from the town of Minova in South Kivu province, sank on Thursday morning, only 100 meters from its destination at the shore of Goma. An increasing number of people have opted to cross the northern tip of Lake Kivu by boat to reach Goma in often overcrowded vessels to avoid land travel in an area prone to fighting between Congolese government forces and M23 rebels. Another boat has overturned over there in Africa. Somebody said, I saw people sinking. Others around him were drowning. Oh my God. Goodness, almost 300 people. That's over in the Congo. It's so much to be happening over there. Goodness gracious. They be trying to overload those boats and then they cause them to capsize and sink. But yeah, y'all, we're about to enter into World War III. Well, it already has started, but it's only a matter of time before Russia responds because Israel blew up a Russian warehouse, weapons warehouse over in Iran. So it's only a matter of time before Russia gets into this directly. Biden says nothing's going to happen today. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He is not Israel. He is not Netanyahu. He does not control the Israeli Defense Forces, so he can't tell them nothing about what's going to happen. Usually Israel lets them know after the fact, so Biden has no control over what's happening over in the Middle East. No cookers, showers, or gas displaced people shelter in Lebanese schools. Typhoon Krathon, there's another typhoon, makes landfall in Taiwan, killing at least 2 people. Taiwan is getting tore up too. In South Sudan, hunger complicates plans to end wildlife poaching. But they're killing the wildlife and eating them because there is a famine over in South Sudan. And I think it was Sudan and some parts of South Africa. I know it was 2 countries that I said that they are actually killing wildlife because of the food shortage over there in a couple of those African countries. They're killing elephants and other wildlife. Yeah. So that's what's happening. Typhoon Krathon, that must have just touched down. As storm batters island, soldiers in South mobilized to help battle electrical fire in hospital that killed 9 people. Bird flu suspected of killing dozens of captive tigers in Vietnam. U.S. prosecutors to tell new evidence in Trump election subversion case. Yeah, they've uncovered a lot of different evidence since Jack Smith refiled that case. And they're going into more detail this close to the election. They're going in closer detail about what happened, in more detail about what happened that day on that Capitol. Biden says he would not back Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear sites. So you ain't got to back it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So yeah, this is what's happening now. This dock worker stuff, that's what's caused all that panic buying. Like I said, people going swooping up toilet paper and water and stuff because of this dock worker strike. And Biden can step in and make them get back to work if he wanted to, but he said he's not going to intervene. So we'll see how that works out. But so we're dealing with the Hurricane Helene aftermath. We're dealing with the potential start of World War III, and the price of gas is going to skyrocket once Israel attacks Iran's oil refineries. And what else? We got the hurricane, the strike, and the gas prices about to go up. So y'all can keep putting your head in the sand if you want and act like you don't know what's going on. Keep focusing on other stuff that's not important, and y'all not paying attention to all this stuff. A lot of y'all, but it's a lot of stuff about to go down. And like I said, the next 3 or 4 days, it's about to get real. Look for a lot of anti-Semitic hate crimes to start happening, and a lot of protests, pro-Palestinian protests start. taking place in the streets that might resort to violence worldwide. Um, in the meantime, Congress is on break for the month. And people are going to get pissed off with this whole just giving people $750 who's lost everything in this hurricane, while y'all giving migrants $4,000 and $5,000. Yeah, just watch. People are going to start rioting in the streets because these politicians have fumbled everything. So you're trying to tell Ukraine and Iran how to fight their war and run their country, and you are losing the wars over here, and you're about to have another civil war over here because of your poor leadership. And that's all of the politicians. I don't care what parties y'all are. All of y'all have failed the American citizens. So ain't no finger pointing and blaming. It's all of y'all. That's why I don't trust no politician. And that's why I will not be voting during this election. So, okay. All right, y'all. Like I said, brace yourselves because it's about to get all the way real. Peace. God bless.
Joining me now, former Secretary of Homeland Security during the Obama administration and a former Pentagon official, Jeh Johnson. Secretary Johnson, thank you. It's been a year since those horrific attacks, and we've seen, of course, the war in Gaza since, and now the war in Lebanon, the escalating tensions with Iran. So there are a lot of threats out there. The threat level is very high. How well protected are Americans, both overseas, diplomatic posts, military posts, other targets, and here at home?
Andrea, when I was in the DHS chair, sometimes I'd write these public statements myself about anniversaries and things, and spend a lot of time just converting them into plain English. And I think the answer to your question is we should be very clear with the public what the threat is, what the threat landscape is, what the government is doing about it, and what the public can do about it. If you see something, say something. It's appropriate to be vigilant on the anniversary of October 7th, but bad things don't tend to happen on anniversaries. So by raising the visibility of the anniversary, I wouldn't want people to become complacent on October 8th or October 9th. This is a somewhat elevated threat environment here in the United States, and the public has a role too.
And in terms of the threats from Iran now, today saying that we will target anyone who helps Israel. Obviously, we have said, the White House has said, we are supporting Israel. The American missile defense from air and sea was very actively defending Israel from that barrage.
If I were Iran, the government of Iran, I'd think twice about provoking the United States directly into this fight. And governments, even the government of Iran, is capable of making that type of calculation. When I was at DOD, I observed that even certain terrorist organizations are sometimes careful about drawing the United States directly into the fight against them. And so it is without a doubt a broadening, more dangerous conflict in the Middle East. We've pledged to support Israel as we should. But if you're Iran, you need to think twice about directly engaging the United States.
I want to ask you about how all this is potentially impacting the election. This is a Middle East crisis. Donald Trump is trying to make much of it and saying that he could solve all these wars in a day. I'm not sure how that actually lands with people, but what people are seeing is higher threats, an active war, Americans at risk. And this is at a time when you also have a longshoreman's trial and you've got a hurricane and criticism of the FEMA response. What is your assessment of all of these events outside of the control of the United States, really, that are certainly affecting the incumbent?
Andrea, as you know, foreign affairs, national security don't tend to play a very large role in the voters' minds around an election. Last time I think national security did play a significant role was probably 2004, 3 years after 9/11. Voters seem to be focused on the economy, on inflation, affordability. We all want to feel safe, obviously, and I think that's a looming concern for the American people. Homeland security, national security, the elevated threat environment. These are issues that are important. They play a role, but they have not historically played a primary role. But it's up to our government, the national security components of our government, Homeland Security, to be vigilant, to be on the lookout, because
Israel now says it has prepared its Air Force for possible strikes on Iran in retaliation for Monday's missile attack. Israeli jets were seen carrying out wartime preparations as their Air Force proposed a potential hit list of Iranian targets.
Iran launched approximately 200 missiles at the state of Israel yesterday. Iran attacked civilian areas and endangered the lives of many citizens. Thanks to proper civilian behavior and high-quality defenses, the damage was relatively minor. We will respond. We know how to locate important targets. We know how to strike with precision and power.
And now Israel says that all Iranian military and nuclear infrastructure facilities are on the hit list as well. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says its impending attack could include airstrikes and even clandestine operations targeting key Iranian political and military figures. In fact, some of the other main targets that Israel could potentially strike include Iran's oil and energy facilities, air bases and air defense systems, headquarters and command centers of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and missile and attack drone storage and production facilities. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden held a call with G7 leaders as they agreed upon Israel's right to retaliate against Iran. President Biden also said he would unveil new sanctions on Iran. However, he urged Israel against attacking Tehran's nuclear facilities.
Yes, look, I called a meeting of the G7 today. We're working on a joint statement all of us agree on, from Japan to France to Germany to etc. And what we're doing in that regard is we're making it clear that there are things that have to be done. And it's obviously Iran has gone way out of, it's way off court. We'll be discussing with the Israelis what they're going to do, but all 7 of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
Now, with Washington's green light, Israel has shared its retaliation plan against Iran with the Biden administration. Meanwhile, Iran has warned both Israel and the United States that an Israeli attack will draw a much larger response from Tehran.
The security of the region is the security of all Muslims, and we do not want any war or bloodshed. Since I assumed the presidency, every speech I've made has emphasized our quest for peace and security. No nation or region can prosper in the midst of war. We were left with no choice but to respond. If Israel decides to retaliate, then it will face harsher reactions.
As tensions continue to escalate, the United States is sending thousands of U.S. troops to the Middle East, along with more warships and fighter jets, as Washington vows to defend Israel at all cost.
First Post decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on First Post.
Israeli warplanes pulverized the Lebanese capital. Its military says the targets were Hezbollah intelligence headquarters, command centres, but this is a densely populated area. Afterwards, abandoned cars and belongings filled the surrounding streets, while bulldozers and residents sifted through the debris. A nearby cemetery was also caught in the blast. Lebanon's health ministry gave this update.
This is a war crime, there's no doubt about it. As for the argument that some of these cars or hospitals had weapons or so on, I mean, these are false excuses and old arguments and lies.
Thursday's strikes come as the number of dead in overnight attacks continued to rise. In the first on the heart of Beirut, an emergency services facility said to be linked to Hezbollah was hit. Those on the ground said they heard the missile passing overhead before they felt the buildings shake. Many of them were still on fire this morning.
We heard the explosions at night. We came now and saw everything flattened to the ground. There's nothing left. There used to be a garage here and that was a spice shop. There's nothing here. These are all just excuses. We have nothing here to justify why they bombed it.
Other strikes took place in the city's southern suburbs. It comes as Israel continues to push further into Lebanon after issuing dozens of evacuation warnings. The United Nations described the situation as catastrophic, saying there was a crucial need for food, water and safe shelter for around 1 million displaced people. Meanwhile, the WHO, along with the European Union, condemned attacks on healthcare workers, with 28 killed in the last 24 hours.
Health and humanitarian workers, including WHO staff, have done incredible work under very difficult and dangerous conditions with limited supplies. And yet, healthcare continues to come under attack.
Meanwhile, evacuation efforts are ongoing as countries rush to get their citizens out of Beirut. Chartered flights like this one continue to arrive while queues of passengers file into its main airport. They say they don't know if they will see their friends again. Victoria Innes, TRT World.
You are watching The World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. Let's begin with the headlines we're tracking at the moment. Multiple huge explosions are heard in Beirut in the early hours this morning, with reports that at least one strike hit outside the perimeter of Beirut's international airport. The latest Israeli strikes on Beirut came after Israeli military ordered civilians near two buildings in Dahiyeh, in the southern suburb of Beirut, to evacuate immediately ahead of airstrikes. Oil pushed higher following its biggest one-day jump in almost a year, on concerns that Israel may decide to strike Iranian crude facilities in retaliation for a missile barrage earlier this week. The price of crude oil rose 5% after Joe Biden said the United States was discussing the possibility of Israel strikes on Iran's oil industry. Prime Minister Modi called an urgent meeting of the government's topmost decision-making body, the Cabinet Committee on Security over the Crisis in West Asia. Sources say they discussed in detail the fresh hostilities in the Middle East and the sharp escalation after Iran's ballistic missile attack on Israel. Houthi rebels are threatening Greek-owned vessels whose holding companies are cooperating with Israel, according to a dispatch circulated by Reuters. Through an email campaign, the threats are also targeting Greek-flagged ships with little or no connection to Israel and directed at entire merchant fleets. Tesla is recalling 27,000 Cybertrucks, the vehicle's fifth callback this year, and the latest in a series of unsavory headlines for the electric vehicle giant. The recall, though, which was triggered by a rear-view camera issue, comes the day after Tesla's stock fell on the back of its third-quarter sales.
The killing of Hezbollah leader Nasrallah in airstrikes in Beirut suburb last week put the spotlight on the man widely regarded as his heir, Hashim Safieddine.
Now, the likely new face of Hezbollah could herald some big changes. More details in our next report.
The man on the left, Syed Hassan Nasrallah, led the Hezbollah for 32 years of its 42-year history through ups and downs. The man on the right, Hashim Safieddine, is the one slated to take charge in a period of turmoil. Hashim Safieddine is Nasrallah's first cousin. Like Nasrallah, he's a cleric whose black turban denotes his descent from Prophet Muhammad. Hashim studied with Nasrallah before being called back to Lebanon in 1994. He rose through the Hezbollah's ranks, joining the Majlis al-Shura, the group's highest decision-making body, in 1995. Soon afterwards, Safieddine was appointed head of the Jihad Council, strengthening his influence over the Hezbollah's military and strategic operations. He was elected head of the Executive Council in 2001, overseeing Hezbollah's political affairs. That made him a central figure in shaping Hezbollah's non-military activities. Safieddine's say also extends to Hezbollah's military operations as a member of the Jihad Council. He was appointed military commander for southern Lebanon in 2010, a key region in Hezbollah's long-standing conflict with Israel. The US State Department designated him a terrorist in 2017. Sources say Nasrallah and the Hezbollah had started tailoring positions for Safieddine within a variety of different councils that make up the group. Even alongside his physical similarities with Nasrallah, the looks and the voice, watchers have pointed out that the biggest dissimilarity lies in Safieddine's far more hawkish stance vis-à-vis the US. Already he has warned Israel of a fierce response. Back in 2017, when another senior Hezbollah leader had been killed, Safieddine had warned, let the enemy prepare himself to cry and wail. The US clearly has a big fight coming. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
The latest new details have emerged about events leading up to the killing of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah.
A report suggests that Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had warned that Hezbollah leader had asked him to flee Lebanon days before he was killed in an Israeli strike.
Now, in the immediate aftermath of the attack on Hezbollah's pagers last month, Khamenei had sent a message to Nasrallah through an envoy. The message was to tell the Hezbollah leader to leave for Iran. The message was sent after intelligence suggested that Israel had operatives within Hezbollah and was planning to kill Nasrallah. As per the report, the messenger was a senior Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander, Brigadier General Abbas Nilforoshan. It further said that the Brigadier General was with Nasrallah in his bunker when it was hit by Israeli bombs and was also killed.
Nasrallah's assassination followed 2 weeks of precise Israeli strikes that have destroyed weapon sites, eliminated half of Hezbollah's leadership council, and decimated its top military command.
Buying in full swing Thursday morning outside Costco in Wayne.
I was shocked. I drove past and the line was all the way back to the Five Below in the back.
I came here and I could see that everyone was scrambling trying to get stuff because there's a lot of people in there, a lot of chaos. Everybody going different ways.
Since the dock worker strike started Monday, people have been making a run on toilet paper, paper towels, and bottled water.
I just think it's panic. Everyone's afraid because of COVID. They've been through this already.
Yesterday I was at BJ's and people were buying paper towels like crazy.
Not everyone sees the need to panic, pointing out that some of the goods being stockpiled are ones made right here in the United States.
I don't think you need to panic buy. A lot of the stuff we have here in this country, we don't, like toilet paper, we don't import toilet paper.
There is concern about imported medical devices and supplies.
Gloves, wound care, that's all imported.
Most of the inventory at WellCare Surgical Supply in Fairfield comes from overseas.
The rollators, walkers, all these products are imported from China.
Marianne DeRosa says she's had a few conversations with vendors and distributors.
They're telling me that maybe down the road, if it lasts, we will have shortage of the imported stuff.
Right now, her stock is fine, but a few weeks from now, she's not so sure.
We're very concerned, because we need to supply our customers, facilities, nursing homes. So it's a big concern to us if we can't get products.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Lorena Inclán in for Trina. We begin tonight with a breaking update in the massive dock workers strike that has shut down major ports across the country, including right here at home. According to the Associated Press, the union representing some 45,000 dock workers has agreed to temporarily suspend the strike. The strike is expected to be on pause until January 15th, giving the union and port employers more time to negotiate a new contract. For the last 3 days, thousands of dock workers were on the picket line demanding pay raises and a ban on automation.
You can empathize with their perspective, right? Because they're concerned with jobs, obviously being displaced as a result of automation. But that's going to be a really big sticking point. Could it be that this is a negotiating point and they'll ultimately come back to the middle on semi-automation? Maybe.
There was also reports of shoppers panic buying, but economic experts say there hasn't been any major impacts to the supply chain.
More aid starting to trickle into hard-hit areas of the southeast as the death toll from Hurricane Helene has passed 200.
The storm is now the deadliest U.S. hurricane since Katrina. Fox News correspondent Caroline Elliott has more from Swannanoa, North Carolina tonight.
Trying to be here as long as the community needs us.
Plenty of help starting to get to hard-hit areas of the southeast after a direct hit from Hurricane Helene 1 week ago. There are hundreds dead and missing, hundreds of thousands without power, but we're also seeing plenty of hope and resilience here, with neighbors helping neighbors as the damage assessment continues.
It was amazing to see that community come together. Seeing those people risking their lives for others is very, very important.
There's no telling how many homes and businesses were damaged or destroyed. Some hard-hit communities were essentially wiped off the map, but despite the widespread devastation, most folks in the region say they want to stay and rebuild.
I feel so bad for everybody, and everybody says, I'm sorry, and everybody's sorry, and now it's time to go back to work, and let's get it done.
FEMA and other government agencies are now deploying in big numbers, but transportation remains a major issue. Hundreds of roads are still closed, meaning food and water are becoming scarce in some isolated communities. President Biden visited the region for a second straight day on Thursday, telling folks they won't be left behind. One small sign of hope is power outages are slowly getting better in this area. You can see crews behind us working now, which is one small sign of hope for the families that live here. In Swannanoa, North Carolina, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Meanwhile, storm relief federal funding, though, is still up in the air because of this congressional break. President Biden is signaling to Congress that they need to regroup soon. The president, as we've been reporting all morning long, has pledged to cover all debris costs, removal costs in the state of North Carolina, but it's still a very long road ahead as many remain without power and basic needs. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian is live with the latest on the push to bring some members of the Hill back. So, Nicole, Congress is out all month. Any chance they'll return to take up more disaster aid to help communities hit hard by Helene? Those folks can't take a break.
Well, Vlad, there may be a lot of push, but I don't know if there will be the political pull to bring these lawmakers back, even though there are bipartisan calls for Congress to return from members themselves. Even just this week, I was with former President Trump in Wisconsin and asked him if he thinks Congress should return to pass more relief in light of Hurricane Helene. He replied yes, which is a rare moment of agreement with someone like President Biden, who has also called for Congress to return. What I can tell you is that Speaker Mike Johnson is in the region as well today. He's in the Big Bend area of Florida and Steinhatchee to tour storm damage. So this is a topic that could likely come up during that visit. He is there with other representatives from that region. But he made clear earlier this week that he believes Congress has already appropriated enough funds that FEMA can use to get that money out of the door. That was part of that continuing resolution or short-term government funding package that lawmakers passed just before the recess. But to be perfectly blunt, that was about $20 billion to replenish FEMA's disaster relief fund. So it's not necessarily earmarked for Helene per se, because this happened before the storm. But what he's arguing is that that money can still be used in its stead to respond to an emergency like that. Still, though, many lawmakers are continuing to call to come back to try to take this up in a separate supplemental package.
Got it. All right, Nicole Killion for us this morning. Nicole, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I want to update you on the tropics and remind you, we're coming into October now. We are officially coming into the final third of the hurricane season in the Atlantic, and the activity should start to decrease. Of course, we get more frequent storm tracks coming through the area, and that helps to kind of recurve systems that form in the central and eastern part of the Atlantic. It helps turn them off to the north. That's what's happening with our latest hurricane, Kirk. We'll go ahead and show you that one in just a moment. Take a look at the showers here, not well organized over the Western Caribbean, but there is a chance, about 40%, that we could see something developing into the Gulf. There's some question as to whether it would come a little farther west into the central Gulf. We'll watch that. Again, Hurricane Center thinks about 40% the chances. Here's Kirk, and I mentioned with storm systems coming through, like the one that just pulled offshore, that front's going to swing out. It's going to help pick up Kirk and steer it off to the north. We have another area that will likely develop. This will be our next tropical depression, and eventually it should continue to strengthen and become Leslie. That's the next name on the list. So here's the track for Kirk, and Kirk is actually forecast to become a major hurricane. That could happen maybe late today or tomorrow, as the Hurricane Center has it projected to intensify. And then as we go into Friday and Saturday, likely a Category 3 hurricane, but turning harmlessly off into the North Atlantic. That water cooler up there, it should eventually weaken. Right now, it is not posing a threat to land. Now, that other area that we're talking about, kind of forming on the heels of Kirk, this one, if it does become Leslie, looking at the global models that project it to turn off to the north, kind of following a similar path. So those two systems can do whatever they want as long as they stay out in the central Atlantic and they're not a threat to land. That's fine. As for this area here, again, not well organized, but that's the one that we're going to need to watch carefully over the coming week. We will do that and keep you updated right here at 13 News Now.
Also new this morning, millions are being told to seek shelter after a typhoon slammed into southern Taiwan. The storm bringing in more than 100-mile-per-hour winds, torrential rain. As you see in this video, at least 2 people are dead. And right now, hundreds of international flights have been disrupted. Rail lines are closed along with their financial markets. So the typhoon has weakened, but the threats from a storm surge, they remain as it slowly makes its way towards Taiwan's coast.
Merci namaliza watu Mungu watu wa mingi watu wanaisha Mungu wa mingi sana merci wote Mungu
The Dominican Republic has announced a plan to deport up to 10,000 undocumented migrants per week to its conflict-hit neighbor, Haiti. The government says the decision has been taken after noticing an excess of Haitian migrants living illegally in the country.
A protocol will be established for illegal immigrants and their assisted return, guaranteeing dignified conditions and in collaboration with the Haitian authorities.
The expulsion plan comes even as the United Nations has urged countries, including the Dominican Republic and the United States, not to deport Haitian migrants. The mass deportation would mark a significant growth in expulsions after more than 200,000 Haitian migrants were forced to return to their nation last year. Now the Dominican Republic's presidential office has pointed out the slow progress of the UN-backed peacekeeping mission in Haiti against armed gangs. President Luis Abinader, who was re-elected last year, says the instability in Haiti has put pressure on his nation's security.
The crisis in Haiti warrants particular attention. More than 3 years of instability in our neighboring country has put significant pressure on our own security. We come strongly requesting the involvement of the international community in a leading and sustained role in the stabilization of Haiti.
Now, it's important to note that this is not the first time that the Dominican Republic has taken a tough stance against migrants from Haiti. In fact, last year, the country accounted for 96% of Haitian nationals deported from around the globe. The Dominican Republic also closed border crossings with Haiti, citing a canal conflict. In fact, President Abinader was re-elected after he promised to build a border wall with Haiti, an idea he first floated in 2022, taking inspiration from former U.S. President Donald Trump. As the Dominican Republic hardens its stance on its neighbor, severe hunger now affects nearly 6 million people in Haiti as armed gangs continue to expand their presence around the capital.
First Post decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on First Post.